All right. Hey, good morning. Hope everyone has their week off to a good start. This is my mostly every week check-in. I think I missed last week. Schedule got a little bit out of hand, but otherwise, yeah, you know me. I try to do these every Monday morning, kind of your market check-in of kind of what's going on in the real estate market, Portland, Vancouver area, since that's really all that matters, right? I don't care what's happening in Oklahoma or somewhere, but just things that I think are worth knowing, worth thinking about, knowing about, etc. So, with that said, if you've watched these long enough, you know that once a month I get on here and go, "Oh my God, this is my favorite one I get to do," and it's because last month's stats came out, right? So for here we are, the February stats have come out for us, so we get to kind of take a look at what's going on specifically in this case, just in the Portland market. I've not received my graphic yet for Southwest Washington. Womp womp. So I'll do that one maybe next week. That one's usually been on a little bit of a time delay, but for the Portland metro area. The update today is going to be a little bit of, I don't want to call it good news, bad news, but I'm going to call it good news, and you'll hear why when we get to the sort of the back half of this. And then it's kind of more interesting news, things to kind of keep an eye on, right? So, average sales price for the month of February, a little over $590,000. That's good, right? We're way up from last month. But you also know, if you watch these long enough with me, you know, month to month, I don't really care, right? Because we're going to get seasonality, we're going to get that movement. It's year over year. In my mind, that's the only thing that matters, right? Because that shows sort of the true health and trajectory of the market, absent any notion of seasonality. So in this case, we're down. We're down about, well, I'll call it 4% from this time last year. It's an interesting data point, puts us down around kind of that same ballpark on a year to date, but we're 2 months in over last year. So whether that's a bad news thing or not, I'm going to call that an interesting one to watch. If you're a homeowner, it's a little concerning, but it's also 3.7%, so not that big of a deal. Especially if you've owned your home long enough, whatever. We're so far up in values, it's great. Market time 91 days. We're up. That's continuing to be a slow market, but I can tell you already, and a lot of you, I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of you already this year, asking me about the market in general, and I can absolutely tell you things feel like they are absolutely heating up. There is activity. I'm seeing it left and right, whether it's multiple offers on properties, more properties hitting the market, things going under contract sooner. There's definitely good fluid movement so far this year. So that's why I'm not super concerned about price movements yet, because I think we're going to see the back, portion of this year. I don't want to say the back half, but at some point, I think this year gets a little bit more spicy than what we're seeing right now. Number of homes sold is down almost 2%, small number, so that's fine. That's a little bit of a wiggle room. And here's that seasonality bit, right? We're 27% higher than the month prior to that, which 30-day sales cycle. Who wrote contracts in December? Nobody. That's why we're so high from the January closings. So month to month, this doesn't matter. New listings. Here's where we're going to get to the interesting part, the good news part. If you are a home buyer or you're considering buying a home, or you've been wanting to buy a home, but you're looking around the market going, there's just not much out there. There's nothing really interesting. Your new listings are up 17% compared to last year. Seasonality bit, we're up 7% from the month prior to that, so that's great. So that's sort of your good news piece, and that's the rabbit hole I want to go down for the rest of this time this morning of what's the current market looking like, and what are those opportunities for potential home buyers, and is this a good thing in the market for you coming up? Crop the camera to get the dog out of here. So we're going to kind of go through the key stats. Pending sales. These are contracts written on homes. So pending sales, if you look at this little orange line, or in this case, we're just going to look at the dots for February. Our pending sales compared to the last two prior years, we are up, right? So more people are writing contracts right now than they have in the last couple of years. That's an interesting data point worth watching. Now, as we get into hang on, slides getting a little goofy on here. Sorry about that. Pending, I just screwed my whole slide. There we go. Let's go. Close sales. All right, technical difficulties. Close sales, we're on par with last year. So those actual closings, we're on par, so that's flat. So far, we're writing more contracts, but the same number of closings are happening. That's the 30-day lag, right? What's pending this month, it'll close next month. So our close, we're flat. Everything's fine. Everything's consistent, so not a big deal. But yet our active listings are up. So we're seeing the same number of closings. We're seeing pendings are going way up, but we're having more active listings sitting on the market. The magic of what's happening right now on this last slide, new listings, we're up. Now, it's not a dramatic jump, but that's okay. Active listings are up higher than the last 2 years of what we've seen. So why is this good news if you're a potential buyer? Simply put, choices. With more listings hitting the market, you have more choices, you have more options, you have more homes to choose from, especially for those of you who say, I'm on a time crunch, because either you go through one of the D's of life, right? diamonds, divorce, diplomas, diapers, and whatever the last one is, downsizing, whatever it was. Um, if your hand is being forced or you're under a little bit more of a time crunch, this is great news. You have more choice. If you have the luxury of time, taking your time, it's still good news because you have more options to look at in general, right? So maybe you still buy something next month, maybe you still wait 6 more months, that's fine. But just know you're seeing more and more inventories hitting the market. I expect this to continue all year. We'll see if it holds or not. But I think what we're going to see is people are starting getting used to the fact of 6% mortgage. Fine, it's not that big of a deal. Lately, we've been hitting like 5.99 or lower. Again, a little side note: talk to me if you're looking for a mortgage lender to talk to. I've got the ace in the hole of a guy who pretty much consistently beats others on rates and fees. So if you want to get a real look at rates, let me know and I can connect you with him. He's fantastic. Now, I think we're going to see listings popping up, giving more choices, more everything else. Now, if we go back to sort of the pending and closed, we're sort of on par, slightly above. It's a pretty close thing. So here's your interesting kind of dichotomy of the market. You have more choices in homes on the market right now if you are a buyer, but you don't seem to have an upsurge in competitive activity, if you will. Now, I'll tell you, notionally, I'm seeing more activity in the market, but I think we're entering that fun, sweet spot for potential buyers where I have more homes to choose from. I also don't have a lot more competition for home buyers or for other people who possibly want to buy that same home. Meaning, I think I'm in that window of time where I have more to choose from, and I can maybe still negotiate for more seller paid credits or other types of compensation to make it better. Price improvement, great if you want to go down that path. My favorite, get the credits for closing costs because it's going to save hard cash in your pocket. There's still opportunities for those. But I think as the year goes on, we're going to see that window slowly starting to close. I don't think it's going to close all the way, but you're going to see that window kind of shorten down a little bit, simply meaning it won't be a thing for all homes, or for some homes, it just won't be a thing anymore. So we're in that sweet spot of the market. So all is really well. If you're a home owner, don't worry, we're still fine. If you're a home buyer, I think things are getting to that great stage. The question is, how long does it stay great? That's your update for the week. It's 7.5 minutes in. We're getting better at this. As always, thanks for watching. And if you have any questions, feedback, comments, or just want to heckle me in general, reach out. Lord knows some of you guys know how to reach me and give me your food for thoughts on these things. So I always do appreciate that. Otherwise, have a fantastic week. Thank you for watching these, and we'll see you next time.